Yahoohooooo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform, our platform to become your spiritual server. And welcome to your daily reading for today, Monday, October the 29th of 2018. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I know it's late, it's still at 5 o'clock in the afternoon here on the East Coast, so people are getting off work right now. People are coming home, or at least it kind of really depends upon what you do for a living and stuff. But for a good majority of people, this is kind of time where they wind down and stuff. So this video is really going to kind of just give you an overview of the energies of the day, and just kind of check with your day and your experience to see if this resonates or not. That's okay. Parts of it may resonate, parts of it may not. I put out these videos and this content because I do want to be a voice that people could potentially listen to, and I want to provide my 2 cents on what's happening here. But because I know it's a little bit later me getting this out, but I wanted to make sure I did it because once again I drew the cards for the whole week, and once again the cards tell a beautiful story. It was really awesome too, the process that I drew the cards today, because my lovely fiance helped me, and that was really fun. Very fun to see her evolve in her understanding of the cards and the images and stuff. It was really, really cool, and I actually learned some things about it. And then of course I turned and started looking at the astrology one, which I already knew that this week was intense, but after writing these things down, because that's what I do when I look at the astrology, I write down notes on every single day on what's happening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It can be like, sometimes it can just snowball until just like a freaking flood of, or just like a tidal wave of cosmic energies, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible to be having so much energy brought our way, and to be receiving all this, and to work with this energy that we're receiving, and to make sure that it interfaces correctly with our own systems, and what we believe in and stuff, and where we see ourselves going, and where we see where our heart is, where that emanates from in that place. But today, after my little poetic rant there, today for the cards we do have the 8 of Swords and the 7 of Cups. We also have the card of romantic love. And romantic love reads, the frequency of romantic love supports our journey to feel whole and complete through the experience and reflection of a conscious lover. And I think this is really cool. Astrologically, we do have the moon, which will be traversing 2 degrees of Cancer to 16 degrees of Cancer throughout the day. And of course, the moon is at home in Cancer. The moon likes to be here. It's able to really feel that emotional stability and security. So today, as far as these energies, what people are going to be really receiving, and really the sort of realm that they're going to be living in is going to be in the realm of Cancer, which is about, it's cardinal water, so it's about directing water, directing emotion. So definitely setting the intention to have definitely a calm evening, and this will feed, of course, into tomorrow. We wanted to actually have a secure, nice, comforting evening. We wanted to really have those relationships with family members that need to be had. Those are going to come up today, so there may be some sensitivities when it comes to dealing with family, especially considering the fact that we do have the moon, which will be opposing Saturn today at 4 degrees. So this, of course, is really you kind of checking over to see who in your life and is really on board for your deeper vision. And this really, of course, has to come primarily from how do you feel about things in your flow, making sure that are you being caught up too much in a wave pattern, or a wave, I would say, like an emotional or an energy signature. Are you too caught up in a particular wave? Sometimes we can get too caught up in our emotions, and right now with so much energy in water, it's really easy to really do that. Nothing wrong with being whisked away by the tide and to see where we're going. The similarity to air will be like nothing wrong with hanging onto a dandelion and just seeing where the wind takes us. But sometimes, this is about this is, like I said, this is cardinal water, so about directing that water, not necessarily going with the flow and seeing how things are going. That was the moon in Gemini, which we experienced over the weekend, which definitely brought up opportunities and even experiences of conversations that needed to be had. And now for the next couple of days, we're really going to be emotionally processing a lot of these conversations, whether they happen over the weekend or today. But this is definitely an opportunity for us to, want to look towards the future. But the moon also does trine the sun today. So we do get this trining energy, and then of course later in the day, the moon will trine over to Neptune. So we actually do have a bit of a grand water trine here. Even though the moon will make the aspect to the sun first, primary to Neptune, and even though the Neptune and sun are separated by an 8-degree orb, this is still really important that we get this grand water trine. So that means that we actually have the gift of emotional clarity and vision. We have the gift today of emotional healing. When I think of this grand water trine, or when I think of grand water trines in general, since it's a lot of water, but trines bring healing energy and miracles, think of it, I want you to think of yourself like in a pool of water near the beach, and you walk to the edge of the sandbar and you look down, and the water is so clear that you can see the coral, you can see the fish, you can see the vibrancy, because the water is just that clear. You can see so much. It's almost as if there's light pouring through. I mean, there is light pouring through, but it's almost like there's just an extra bit of light that is being poured through, like a miracle. Like you're able to see through the depths, and it can be kind of like you realize how high up you are, but at the same time there is a bit of a grounded feeling there. A miracle will be planted. So that's really what this grand water trine energy is going to be showing. Not only that, but Jupiter and Mercury come into their conjunction at 27 degrees, and albeit this happens in the early part of the day, so by the time that I post this video on YouTube, the conjunction would have already happened. But this is an opportunity for us to take what we have learned and investigated with our minds as far as these deeper currents, these deeper desires and these wants, and how can we expand upon this? How can we find the fortune in this? Mercury in Scorpio is definitely a detective and an investigator trying to get to the bottom of things. And Mercury at the edge of Scorpio is like a mad. I'm kind of hearing, I'm kind of hearing Shutter Island, where it's like he was a detective, but he was uncovering his own insanity. So Mercury here at the edge of Scorpio, if Jupiter wasn't here, this would be a lot more stress. We also have to consider I want to say this was the area, this was a critical degree, or it's close to a critical degree from the time when Saturn was in Scorpio several years back. And the fact that Mercury and Jupiter meet here, it's almost like we can wig ourselves out, because we feel like we're about to uncover the Holy Grail, and Jupiter's gonna be like, yeah, you are, but there's so much more to this. So it's like we may feel a little bit limited mentally, but this conjunction of Jupiter is just gonna blow that limitation out, and it's really going to offer us an opportunity to see just how expansive we can take things and just how deep this rabbit hole goes. But it also goes up, of course, and it goes diagonal inwards and outwards. The rabbit hole doesn't just go down. But like I said, if Mercury was here by itself and Jupiter wasn't here, Mercury probably would freak out, because it would be conjuncting the spot that Saturn was at. But now that Jupiter's here, it's bringing some fortune and good luck to this. Mercury at the edge of Scorpio is like you're in a mental insane asylum, but you're allowed to play out this conspiracy by people there, because you're obviously brilliant, but there's some psychosis there. And it's like, I don't want to hide and sugarcoat these things, but there are some darker aspects of Scorpio. Scorpio is very much so a very psychological sign, and a lot of times these energies aren't necessarily the easiest to deal with. That's why a lot of times Scorpios are painted as dark, but Scorpios are really, from what I can understand, deeply compassionate people, and are willing to really go to the extremes to really maintain some sense of balance and order. And that's just mainly because I think that Scorpio, as far as the affinity symbol, I think it's the scales. It can either be a bird's eye view of the scales or below the scales, but that's just, of course, me being interesting as far as that goes. But astrologically, you can see that today's going to be a rather emotional day, but also offers the opportunity for healing and for miracles to be birthed and for a new way to be birthed. Some of you may be feeling like there's no way, out. But let's even just turn to the cards. The Eight of Swords, as you can see, she is bound. She has a blindfold on, and there are swords that are standing around her. She feels bound. Like she can't move, she's paralyzed. So some of you can be feeling paralyzed today, whether mentally, emotionally, physically, maybe even spiritually. Some of you can be feeling bound. But we also have the Seven of Cups, which speaks to the very opposite. It speaks to there being abundance. It speaks to there being so many things that we can do, so many choices. These being backed and supported by romantic love, it lets you know that this is definitely being played out in relationships. And according to this card, in particular, romantic relationships. And I'm going to kind of redefine romance here for a moment, if you allow me to. Romantic love doesn't necessarily have to be between you and a lover. A romantic novel is really, it's a story. It's the hero's story. That's really what it is. This can be with colleagues, this can be with friends, this can be with ex-lovers, this can be with family members. But what it's saying is, this is about this feeling of completion and wholeness through the experience of and reflection of a conscious lover. Lover doesn't necessarily have to mean like, what I'm thinking of lover. You do the do, you do the dance. But there are other ways to consciously love people. So I think today what we're going to experience is that we may feel bound and restricted in some way, shape, or form, because we feel like not everyone is going to make the cut. Not everyone is going to understand our vision. And the interesting thing about this, with the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Cups, it's almost like sometimes there can be a paralysis by there being too much. This is very much so a condition within the Western world. This is very much, especially here in America, this is actually a very big condition within the Western world, at least for those in particular who actually are able to frequent grocery shops more, in these shops where there's just so much. How we can have giant malls of just a bunch of stuff, and there can almost be like, you can almost get paralyzed as to like, okay, what do I pick? It's like, in Pokemon, you only have 3 Pokemon to choose from, or if you're late, you get Pikachu. But here, it's like there's so much. It is like your starter Pokemon could be one of like 50 or 100, or as of right now, it's like I think close to like 800 or something like that. Anyways, sometimes we can be paralyzed by the number of options that we have. So some of you can be paralyzed if you are single. You may be paralyzed because you may have 3, 4, or 5 different people that you can see yourself with. But then this is, of course, you have to consider the opposition to Saturn and Capricorn. Do they fit within that structure? Do they fit within that vision that you have? Or are they blinding you something? Or for some of us, or some of you, we could be blinding ourselves from actual situations that are actually working out. But we can just be there. Yes, there's so many different things that can happen, and it's hard to really predict. That's an interesting thing about astrology. I think it's an incredible tool, and you can kind of predict with it, but you ultimately can't, and that's what makes it a tool. Like, you can't. So that's why I don't necessarily get into like prediction astrology and stuff like that. We can definitely, contemplate, and we can definitely, foresee what's coming, and we can make our best educated guess as to what's going to happen. But the beautiful wrench in the system is that there's always going to be this allowance for change, this allowance for innovativeness, this allowance for this spark that keeps things interesting. So no matter how bound you feel, you can never be completely bound. No matter how restricted you feel, you can never be completely without a way out. There's always a way out. There's always a way. And it does come through the connection and reflection of a conscious lover. And we are all lovers. It's just like how OJC Astrology, Olivia says, we're the lovers. And, we're all lovers, we're all lovers. We're lovers of each other. We're lovers of the craft that we do. We're lovers of the things that we do. You know, some people, they love different sports teams, or some people, you know, they love they love gardening, or they love to, I don't know, they love to teach and coach sports. You know, different people love different things, so we are all lovers. It's about really finding, you know, it's really about radiating our love and vibrating at that frequency, and then your tribe will naturally come to you. That's really how it goes. Today is going to offer a great opportunity to heal and to not really. I really feel like with the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Cups here, and all these numbers too. Let me just go ahead and get that, because sometimes I forget to do that. I add up the numbers of the cards. But we have 8 plus 7, which is 15, plus 39, which is 54. 5 plus 4 is 9, and 9 does speak to spirituality, but it's also completion, and it's also the beginning. 9 is right before you go to 10. There are really only 0 through 9. 10 doesn't. 10 kind of exists, but it doesn't really. It's just a 1 and a 0. But 9 is this completion. It's sort of like this pinnacle. And it's about really connecting to spirit and source in your own way, but it's also sort of a beginning point. In many ways, 9 came first, so it's the beginning, but at the end, it's the alpha and the omega. And we play that role. We play both of those roles in our lives every single day. The alpha and omega, you know, two sides of the same coin, which are really one and the same. It's really one and the same. So definitely utilize the energies to the best of your ability. I know, like I said, as I'm posting this rather late, so how did this feel? Like, do you feel like these energies sort of applied? Were there any experiences, situations that came up that brought your relationships to the forefront? Did you feel bound? Did you feel like you couldn't say anything to these people? Did you feel like there's so many other options open? Do you feel like there's actually more flexibility here than we realize? Can you make a decision? Can you not be? Are you able to make a decision? Will you not allow yourself to be paralyzed by the many choices that you have? And even if you want to pursue all choices, will you find out a way to leverage each choice into the other? Because I don't think we're supposed to be doing one thing for the rest of our life. Like, I think we all have multiple things that we're good at, multiple gifts, and we all ultimately want to do everything. But it's about, of course, taking what we feel is priority and leveraging it into the other. Like, I want to do astrology readings, I want to be a writer, I want to travel the world. There are a lot of things I want to do. So, and I plan on doing all of them. I want to make music. I plan on doing all of these. But it's about, of course, you know, yes, we may have a lot of options right now, but we also have to consider, like, for those of you who consider yourselves, like, you don't necessarily know what you want to do as far as career-wise and your purpose and stuff, and you realize that you have a lot of different interests, there is nothing wrong with that. That means that you have so much creativity and energy. Not that no one else doesn't, but that just means you have so much passion, creativity, and energy and dreams flowing through you. There's so much energy flowing through you, my beautiful star child. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to make a decision, stick with it, and leverage it into the other ones, you know? And yeah, that is your reading for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, I am running my sale for only 3 more days. So on October 31st, pretty much right as we go into November, I'm going to take the sale off of my site for all of my readings. So I have 3 different types of readings. And also, if you feel so inclined, I also do have a astrology coaching program as well that I'm developing. So if you would like to work with me further, we can discuss that, and I would really love to work with you more in detail and more in extension. But anyways, the links to the website are all in the description below. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, my fellow star children, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, Stan. Yahoohooooo! Smile often.